having a great time on our dime, but he doesn't know what his own employees are doing at all. But that's okay, because if you say anything about that, you're probably a racist. Yeah. Stay tuned. We're going to be back. We're going to have some drone news. We're going to talk about a door-to-door wellness check that was being conducted by the National Guard in South Carolina, and a look at how Alan Greenspan turned to the dark side. Stay tuned. It's the INFOWARS Nightly News, and I'm your host, Rob Dew.
The knowledge of the ancients, tried and true, trusted herbs and extracts fused with the latest nutraceutical science. Introducing the all-new Ancient Defense Herbal Immunity Blend, crafted with over 14 key ancient herbs and extracts to supercharge and prepare your body for what experts admit is the most dangerous season of the year. We have rejected hundreds of other formulations in our quest to bring you what is simply the most powerful and comprehensive proprietary formula that we have ever created in the realm of herbal immunity. For the last 2 years, our team has been working with top doctors, nutritionists, and chemists to develop the ultimate nutraceutical formulation. Experience the benefits of combining over 14 ancient herbs and extracts with exciting new advances in nutraceutical science. For a limited time, get 25% off on this introductory offer. Visit ancientdefense.com or call 888-253-3139. ancientdefense.com. Used since before the days of the Roman Empire to support the body's natural systems and enhance overall health. Introducing the new InfoWarsLife.com oil of oregano formulation, a highly advanced nutraceutical form of this key herb that has been traditionally used by civilizations for thousands of years to promote health. We have now procured the most high quality and potent forms of oregano oil on the market, sourced from top leading manufacturers to ensure a concentrated level of bioactive ingredients, extracted directly from the wild herb and sealed in easy-to-use capsules. You will no longer need to endure the burning of liquid oregano on the tongue. Wild crafted from the Mediterranean oregano species that experts agree is one of the most powerful and most challenging to acquire. This winter season, it's more important than ever to secure this true form of oil of oregano. Now available in our limited first run at InfoWarsLife.com. That's InfoWarsLife.com or call 888-253-3139.
The purpose of the National Guard is to set up a defensive perimeter around the country in case we were invaded. That's the basic premise of why it was invented. And each state has its own National Guard unit or units that are set up to deploy into different areas. They help out in civil emergencies, natural disasters. Those are the guys you normally call in when it's too much for the local EMS, sheriff's departments, local police forces to handle. Well, Activist Post just reported that a South Carolina National Guard, they drilled door-to-door wellness checks. This is from Brandon Tuberville. On March 7, 2015, the statewide drill entitled Operation Vigilant Guard took place under the pretext of preparation for the inevitable destruction a hurricane would bring to South Carolina. According to reports in the local media, the drills were based on the premise of a landfall of a Category 4 hurricane and how they respond to get citizens help in such an event. And one of the things they talk about, and we're going to go to a video clip of this, is that one of the areas didn't want to evacuate, probably because they're afraid of looters or afraid of the Army coming in and doing what they did like in Katrina, where they were gun confiscating. And they actually go door to door and they practice wellness checks, going door to door, and they have volunteers where they walk up, and we're going to show video of this right now, where they're actually going up and saying, "Hey, sir, how you doing? We just want to see if everybody's all right." And they thank them, and oh, it's just a great old time. But that's not what happened in Katrina. When they went door to door, they were actually confiscating firearms. So that's all this is doing, is acclimating the military to go door to door to get firearms, because that's what they're most concerned about anytime in a time of crisis, is not whether you're being safe, it's whether you have any guns and can we get them. Oh, and if not, we're going to put you on the ground. We've played reports on this. We've had callers call in and say they were part of these operations where they would go bang on people's doors. Hey, we're here to help. Boom, do you have any guns? And we're taking them. And if you gave up any resistance, you were slammed to the ground and taken away. That's what these types of drills are for. And there's a whole psyop around it. I saw this back in 2010 when I went up to Chicago for Operation Vigilant Guard. And they had Polish FBI and Polish Secret Service there, and their Polish Civil Defense Unit, Polish firefighters. They were all there, and they weren't supposed to be participating. They were only supposed to be watching. But as we captured video, which we're going to roll right now, you can actually see the Polish troops holding guns, participating in the exercises where they were killing gun owners and then rounding people up and running them through decontamination units. This is what goes on with the National Guard. This is what they're being trained to do. They're being trained to be vestiges of the federal government and to do what the federal government says, because they work in conjunction with FEMA, and it's all under Homeland Security. So they're not questioning these orders. It's under the guise of, oh, we're here to help. We're here to help. Here's the video of the guy from the exercise saying, this is what we're going to be doing. This is how we're going to be going door to door. And this is why we're going to be doing it.
This is the aftermath of a hurricane that's come and struck us. And upon an evacuation notice, the subdivision of Overton, the residents chose not to leave. So we are doing a door-to-door wellness check.
Our mission here today is to support South Carolina State Guard as well as local agencies, being the Berkeley County Sheriff's Office as well as Fire Department and EMS.
So you heard from the first public servant, we're going to do door-to-door wellness checks. And then it cuts to a guy from the actual Army. So actual Army was there participating with the National Guard. And that's how it's done. They don't talk about the Army and any of the things, but Army is there. Real Army is there. And why do we need the real Army in disaster relief? That's not their job. The real Army's job is to go create a disaster somewhere else and to go fish out the bad guys in other countries, not be operating here in the homeland, as they say it. But, you know, they're running the exercises. I went to one in 2010. 2015, they're still doing them. They're probably doing them in your area. In fact, we got a video and photos sent to us from a listener who first talked about the Guardian Center, which is a kind of doomsday Disneyland. And now he's noticing pickup of activity there. Here's the actual video of helicopters flying information Black Hawk helicopters, the elusive black helicopter flying over his house and going to other locations. And here they come right over his house in formation. What are they preparing for? I wonder. And do they need to be doing these in the homeland? Is this what we're going to be subject to? There's the CNN article, Take a Tour of Doomsday Disneyland. And it's basically a mock city where they set up and pretend people are burning cars and trying to hit police. And so they have to grab people and throw them in the backs of cars. It's crazy stuff that they're doing, that they're training these people for. But as Alex Jones pointed out in his first 3 Police State movies and then in Police State 4, which I helped work on and helped direct, that this is an ongoing operation. This is to acclimate the armed forces to go into domestic populations and take people under their care. That's right. Is that what you want in a time of crisis? The government there to help you? Because they're not really going to help you. They're going to shove you into a stadium and not let you leave. Just go look at Hurricane Katrina and what happened in the Superdome. Now let's move. I got an Alan Greenspan article here. Here's the architect of what we have going on. Worked under 4 different presidents. Insider, Alan Greenspan warns of explosive inflation, tinderbox looking for a spark. According to Greenspan, something big is coming. Last month, it was revealed that the former Federal Reserve Chairman, Alan Greenspan, the architect of U.S. monetary policy under 4 presidents, is anticipating a significant market event as a result of trillions of dollars that have been pumped into the system over the last several years. According to Greenspan, something big is coming. Yeah, now he's spilling the beans because he's not in office. In fact, he's a couple people removed. There was Ben Bernanke after him, and now we have Janet Yellen. It looks like she should probably be in the kitchen baking cookies. Sexist remark, I know. But do we really want that lady in charge of policy who won't admit to anything? In fact, we have a report from John Bound showing how Greenspan went from being a true capitalist, a free market capitalist, into what he is today, and his disciples that soon followed.
Most people still lack the courage to realize that capitalism, real, free, uncontrolled, unregulated, laissez-faire capitalism, not the mongrel mixed economy we have today, was the ideal social system which mankind had almost achieved, then lost. They still lack the courage to realize that if justice, progress, abundance, peace, safety, and goodwill are their social goals, then capitalism is the ideal to live, work, and fight for. The truth which they refuse to face and to admit is that the world conflict of today is the last stage of the struggle between capitalism and socialism, and that the whole world knows it. The most helplessly ignorant shopkeeper on any corner of any street on earth knows it.
Alan Greenspan, a stalwart of this basic reality, was a full-blown laissez-faire capitalist. A direct disciple of Ayn Rand's objectivist fundamental philosophy, he was very close with Rand, even inviting her to his swearing-in to Gerald Ford's Council of Economic Advisors.
Raindrops kept falling on their heads as Gerald and Betty Ford arrived in Austria. And President Ford kept falling on his head, first in Salzburg in front of Austrian Chancellor Kreisky.
Under the Ford administration, Vice President Nelson Rockefeller and the Rockefeller Foundation were wielding catastrophic policies at home and abroad, seizing control of international banking, Latin America, world food production, and dominating the United Nations. The country went from bad to worse as we entered the steepest recession since World War II. In a world of stagflation, Greenspan, Ayn Rand's economic Jedi, quietly joined the dark side.
The circle is now complete. When I left you, I was but the learner. Now I am the master.
Only a master of evil, Darth.
His oversight on tax cuts and Social Security privatization were largely blamed as the catalyst that created the subprime mortgage crisis.
But my suggestion is it's not so much that we should anticipate a problem, that the problem was already created by all the inflation of the past 12 years, and that we have generated this financial bubble worldwide, and that we have to anticipate in that. And when this comes back, we're going to have a big problem, and you have to deal with it.
It's by no means clear, for example, that one can trace the increase in money supply, which presumably has not reflected itself in CPI, into stock values. I mean, a lot of people say it's happening, and a lot of people assume that's what it is. The evidence is not clear by any means.
But you said the Enron decline is an effective illustration of the vulnerability of a firm whose market value largely rests on capitalized reputation with very little, if no, physical assets. That's exactly what our monetary system is all about. And that's why I believe the dollar is vulnerable. We in Congress do not have a responsibility to run Enron. Some other government has a responsibility to deal with fraud. We have a responsibility to the dollar. And I think that's what we fail so often to address around here.
What I was mentioning in the speech that you were referring to is the fact that there is some evidence that we're learning that lesson, learning how to manage a fiat currency. I've always had some considerable skepticism about whether that in the long run can succeed, but I must say to you the evidence of recent decades is that it has been succeeding. Whether that continues is a forecast which I can't really project on. Where we need to be transparent and indicate what we are doing, we do so, and we do so except in those areas where it, as I mentioned to you previously, inhibits the ability to actually function as a central bank.
In 2004, Greenspan gave the U.S. taxpayer the false impression the Fed is beholden to Congress.
The power that we have is all granted by you. We don't have any capability whatsoever to do anything without the agreement or even the acquiescence of the Congress of the United States. We recognize that, and one of the reasons I'm here today is to endeavor to convey why we are doing what we are doing. And I will continue to do that, and I'm sure that all of my colleagues are fully aware of the responsibility that the Congress has given us, and I trust that we adhere to principles of the Constitution of the United States more so than one would ordinarily do.
And I agree with you. The responsibility is here in the Congress.
4 years later, after he left the Fed, he admitted that the Fed calls all the shots.
First of all, the Federal Reserve is an independent agency, and that means basically that there is no other agency of government which can overrule actions that we take. So long as that